got a problem. Womp, 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 womp. What's up, collective fam? It's your boy Tony the Toy Rat, and I'm back with another rigorous resin review for new PVC pre-used and previewed. And this time, it's Spider-Man's Dr. Octopus. We're about to open up the animated version of it. Stick with me, and I'll show it all to you. Let's go! Alright, collective fam, let me lift up the box real quick and show it to you so you can see it without the glare. Obviously, they're going to show a picture of Doc Ock on one side, and then we have our Spider-Man on the other, upside down. Let's talk about who this was done by. It's designed by Barry Bradfield and sculpted by Paul Harding. So, without any further ado, let's crack her open. Boom! So this is the animated version of Doc Ock, guys. Please don't look at this like this is the one from the comic books, which I do have on standby just so you guys can take a look. He's right over here. We'll take a look at that just like in any second now. But first, I want to show you your COA, your certificate of authenticity, which comes with every one of the resin busts from Diamond Select Toys. And it looks like we got number 143 of 3,000. What does that mean, guys? There's only 3,000 of these, so if you don't go get yours now, guess what? You're not going to get one. You only have a short window to get that to happen. Now, let's crack this thing open. As you guys are fully aware at this point, I keep all of the resin bust boxes because they're so gentle. I got to make sure nothing bad happens to them. Oh. Alright, so we take that, push that off to the side, take our COA and set it down over here right now. And I just happen to have my handy dandy little scalpel tool that I use for this stuff. And now I gotta find the right hole here. Okay, there we go. And we're just gonna slice right down the middle, slice down the middle, slice down the middle. Boom, okay. There you go. Alright. As with all the Diamond Select toys, guys, you just gotta take it out really careful. Remember, these are resin and they're delicate, but they're packaged up beautifully. So you're never gonna see them hurt inside the box. But when you take them out, if you're not being delicate with them, you certainly have an opportunity to screw something up. So, ooh, wow. And these guys are always so much heavier. Uh-oh, we've already got a problem. Womp, 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 womp. Okay, I'm not sure this is keyed in, guys. No, it's not. This got broke off. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. You got to be gentle, super gentle with these guys. And it looks like we're going to have to find a way to get that to crazy glue back in. Uh-oh. But such is the habits of all things resin. This is a first look of that Doc Ock, and I'm going to show it to you guys now. Then we'll put it down for a full body spin, and we'll take a look at it together and talk about the things I like and don't like. And you already know one of the things I don't like because I got to fix one now. All right, so this is a Dr. Octopus, and we'll look at them together right now. Let's go! Well, unfortunately, collector fan, this is not my first rodeo. I will say this is the first time I've ever received anything from Diamond Select that has come broken. Now, I can see already, although I was able to sort of key it back in, I'm going to need to glue it in. And the reason I'm going to have to do that is because this arm actually drops lower than the base, and I think that's our problem here, is that it should be sticking up like so above the base, and because it wasn't, I think any impact below that base pushes the arm up and out. That being said, I now have to hold this in my mouth while I crazy glue the inside. Anybody's wondering, I'm using Gorilla Glue because I don't play around. Now, the only problem with doing what I'm doing right now is that it doesn't set like super fast, guys. You gotta kind of work it. You're gonna have to work it a little bit. So, obviously, you see me use a little bit of this here Gorilla Glue. And again, this is just not something that's ever happened to me before with anything from Diamond Select. And I just want to be clear with something, guys. If you ever have a problem with one of your statues or toys, you can always go directly back to them and they will take care of you. So with that being said, I'm going to hit pause for a little bit, wait for this to dry up, and we'll continue our review. Alright. Sorry, guys. It's just the way it is sometimes. Collector fam, I am back after 10 hours of repair work and letting the statue that I just opened up dry. And man, I don't have good things to report. This is always personal opinion, guys. You may like it, you may not like it. Honestly, I don't care. The reality is my job is to take a look at these things and tell you whether or not I think the price that they're pushing supports what they have put out. And I don't have a lot of great things to say about this particular animated bust. Why? Okay, so I'm putting down the certificate of authenticity real quick, and I'm going to spin this around so you guys get a much better look. First, let's talk about the things I really do like about this particular statue. From an animated perspective, I promise you they have matched the color scheme, die for die. I really do appreciate that. I took the time and I pulled up some animated Dr. Octopus imagery from way back in the day, and I will tell you they did nail the color schema. So that much I can appreciate. I really can. I did you guys the service of pulling out another Diamond Select toy, which I absolutely love, which is the PVC full comic valued action oriented Dr. Octopus, and I think this one here is fantastic. I am not trying to draw parallels between the animated version and the comic version. Guys, don't give me too much crap about it, okay? I understand. But there are some basic realities that we have to play with when we buy resin statues. And the first one is the delicacy of the statue. I don't mean how it tastes. I mean how delicate it is, okay? Ultimately, the expectation when you pop one of these open, and you'll note from how I started this video, my expectation was everything was going to come out and be strong, sturdy, and unfortunately, I did not get that from this statue. The tentacles that come out of the backpack on him back here are just not well done. I hate to say it, but I would only know what the tentacle was comprised of if it was broken off, and unfortunately for me, it was broken off. So I know that it was just a small pin in the backpack there, a small metal pin, and then the rest was resin. So I'm not entirely sure what the adherence method was outside of the small pin to get those tentacles to stay on, but I can tell you, don't lift up this statue by its tentacles. Completely different than this, right? I could do this all day long and I would have no problems with this moving about because they're fluid enough and they're PVC driven enough. Even their attachment method where I don't feel like it's going to come out. Okay, I'm not saying that that's recommended. Don't recommend you grabbing it by the tentacles, okay? But the reality is if I try to do that with this one here, I do feel like it's going to pop out. I wound up having to use Gorilla Glue to get the tentacles to stay back in place. And ultimately, that's one of my major problems with this particular bust. It just is too delicate. I almost don't want to move it from where it's at right now. So definitely, if you do decide to pick this one up, it's got to go where it lives and then never move again because you run the risk of damaging it pretty easily. All right, that's thing number one. Thing number two, and I do this with almost every one of the statues that we open up. I try to be realistic about the portrait. It's the portrait. It's the portrait. It's always going to be the portrait. If it doesn't look like the character, it's a fail for me. Now, even in the fact that one is animated and one is a comic value statue here, take a look at the difference in the portrait. The portrait, guys. The portrait. This particular portrait has him with an elongated face. Everybody knows Doc Ock has more of a pudgy look to him. His face is wider. take a look at this guy right here. If you take a look at this one, you will see he's got a wider, fatter face, right? This is our expectation from the origination of the comic book drawing. And even within a lot of the animated features that I saw, the images I pulled up, his face was still wider. Now, I know what they're trying to do with all the animated statues by driving home the lines in the face. Like you can see all those dark. But look at how high the cheekbones look on his face here. You see how high the cheekbones look? That makes him not only have an elongated face, but like he's stronger, more structured there. I don't like it. I don't think it matches comic or animated Doctor Octopus exactly. Here again, I love what they did with the color schema. I just don't like what they did with the portrait. I just don't. As with the rest of the X-Men animated statues that I've opened up already, they do a fantastic job of doing highlights all in around the statue. The tentacles here, you can see there's a major difference between these resin tentacles and the PVC. The PVC are much more elaborate, but if you go back and you take a look at any of the animated versions, this matches it to a T. They're a little chunkier looking. The claws on the outside are less ornate. They don't have as many mechanical elements you can see on the tips. So I mean, I can super appreciate those things being more accurate in the animated statue. As with all of them, if you pop it open and take a look at the bottom, it's always gonna have, you know, this one says number 143 here. If you guys can see that, and turn that up correctly right there so you guys can see that. So this is number 143 of 3,000. So this is a limited edition statue. And it always says that on the base. The bases mirror exactly what they've been doing with all the X-Men. So this sort of, I still don't know what to call these half-cut bases right now. It almost looks like they're jumping out of a portal from Star Trek. I know, don't miss the universes, right? But I did, so whatever. The glasses on him, you know, they made that look very animated style, and it's accurate to that point. But I have to go back to the major portion of this. At $70, are you going to be pissed off if you turn it around and you see what I see, which is I did not repair this one here. But you can see at the branch where it connects back to the backpack area that there is a gap in it. And so if I touch that too much, I feel like, hey, it's going to fall off. It's definitely going to fall off. So it really needs to be delicately handled. For that reason, guys, I'm sorry, Diamond Select. This one is a miss for me. I can appreciate the level of work that went into it. I don't think enough went into conceptually dealing with how the tentacles drop into the backpack. That is a major problem for me. I think that they should have come separate. I think they should have been able to be keyed in by the user, by me, so I can go and lock them in. Maybe it's a tiny little magnet. Maybe it's just a keyhole. But either way, right now, it's the only way for me to fix that is for me to break out the old Gorilla Glue. And nobody wants to break out Gorilla Glue on something that they just purchased. I will say this to you guys again. If you're buying anything from Diamond Select Toys and you tell them there's a problem, they will make it right for you guys. So that's not an issue. I'm really talking about the manufacturing process altogether. They packaged it up nicely, and by all intents and purposes, if I open it up, and I did open it up nicely, it should be fine. But this particular statue is running $69.99 right now. So if I want to pay $70 for something, do I want to fix it when I get it home? And the answer for me is inherently no, I don't. So, I don't want to smash them all together. So I did bring out the Dr. Octopus PVC style so that you guys can get a look at the dynamic version of that. This is such a cool statue. This is available for Diamond Select Toys. I understand if you're only collecting the animated versions of this right now and you want to stick to the animated versions, God bless you. Keep on going. But at $70, guys, this one is a miss for me. That's however unfortunate it is. I know they're going to continue to come out with better statues, but on the animated mini bust, this is going to go on the shelf and never get touched again, and I have to be really careful how I clean it. Just a little bit of housekeeping for those of you who are picking up the statue. I'm going to give you some quick dimensions on this thing right here. So you can see it is right around 10 inches on the width side of things. That's to make sure all the tentacles are safe. And then from the bust level, you can see here it's right around, you want to keep at least 8 inches of clearance where that's concerned. The weight on this guy is maybe just a pound. So it's still fairly heavy for the size of the statue that it is. And for those of you who have become accustomed to me putting out these things, I want to mention over here, we have our friends at the Voracious Imagination Masters. Saladin Bryant and Daryl Murphy have come together to pull together a Dr. Octopus that we hope you enjoy. If you want to see more work from them, get a commission, purchase a poster, any of those kinds of things, this is the information below where you can go and pick them up, whether it's on Instagram or you can contact me directly and I'll get you in touch with those artists. This is Tony the Toy Rat for the Voracious Imagination Masters, Dr. Octopus, Diamond Select Toys, and I am out.